Hey everybody, this is Lisa, proud owner of Body Soul Training, and welcome back to our program, The Inner Life of Fitness, where we share inspiring stories to help ignite your inner and outer strength. So today I'm hanging with this most amazing girl. I'm so excited. I don't want to rush the introduction because then it means the show starts, but she is a lifelong best friend of mine, and she's truly just an amazing human being. She's full of life. I've known her since middle school, and she's got never-ending positive energy. Welcome to the show, my best friend, Kerry Brothers Smart.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited. When I say excited, on my story, I share, you're not just on the show because you're my best friend and you didn't pay me. I want people to know that you didn't pay me to be on the show. As you can see, Kerry.
A little arm twisting.
Come on. Kerry, I want to tell our viewers a little bit about you. I've known you for a long time. And if you could pull up that picture of us again, I think since sixth grade. We're not going to share any of the stories in sixth grade stuff, but you can see that smile. Kerry, as long as I've known her, has just been full of life. It's all about friends. It's all about family. She's just a beautiful soul, and she's going to share a little bit of that. But what I want to say is, she went to Cumberland High School, and you were a competitive runner, and you were number one in the state for cross country, weren't you?
I was, yeah.
And then you went on and you ran at the University of Maine, correct?
I did, yes. Yep. And from 89 to 94. Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah. And my daughter definitely looks up to you. She
and I love following her.
When you send those texts. You now currently work at Thomas College. So you work in development, which is really perfect for you because you have to help fundraise money so what do you do at Thomas College?
Yeah, I work in development, like you said, and my main focus is working with the coaches in the athletic department, raising money. We're a small D3 school, and we have needs in those areas because we're not always fully funded. So I've spent the last 8 years raising money for the athletic department and specifically working with coaches with their programs. And it's great. I love my job. I love the people I work with. Through all of the things over the last 8 years, they were one of my biggest fans, one of my biggest supporters. So I just feel real blessed that I fell into that job. I had a couple people take a chance on me there, and it's just worked out great for me.
That's awesome. And you're such a hugely talented writer, and that's going to come into our story as we talk more. Like I said, Kerry also, I think the biggest pride in her life is her family and her friends, and me being blessed to be in your inner circle has, I'm grateful for that every single day. And something that they may not know about you is that you're an amazing karaoke singer.
That is one of my real strengths. I feel like that I've worked hard on.
I'm waiting for the girls to chime in.
I have only been asked to step down from the karaoke machine one time, and it was because I did 3 too many songs, maybe.
3 too many verses, not songs. So Kerry, I love, we could talk girlfriend talk, but I personally invited you on because you're not only an amazing person, but you're an 8-year breast cancer survivor. And I remember personally when I got the phone call. Would you share with us about your outlook before then, since then, and your biggest challenges when you heard that unexpected news 8 years ago?
Yep. So I feel like I always was on the run, right? Like you said, I was a runner, but that's how I lived my life. Like running here, running there, didn't say no a lot, was just kind of screaming through my life. I always enjoyed life. I love life. I like to have a good time, but I was really racing from this to that. And then when we got that dreaded call, it was like brakes screeching. And it was just time to take a step back and really focus on myself for the first time in a long time and getting healthy. When we first got diagnosed, I was at a routine appointment. My nurse practitioner found a lump. So everyone, please keep your appointments, get your mammograms, do your self-check. But then it was like every time I got a call, it got a little worse each time. So it was, oh, we found a lump. And I kept saying, oh, well, if she calls tonight and say I have to go right in, it's probably serious. And of course I got a call. Yeah, we'd like you in tomorrow for a mammogram and ultrasound. After that, I was like, well, if they call and tell me that I have to have a biopsy, then maybe that could be kind of bad. And then sure enough, they called, we need a biopsy. But along the way, every step, I was an advocate for myself. I surrounded myself with people, my sisters, my husband, friends and family, who helped me become an advocate for myself. So every step of the way, I said, what does it look like? I want you to be honest with me, with the radiologist and the biopsy. Is it bad? Does it look bad? And that was just that was our mode. That was how we operated. When we got the phone call that day, I knew it was going to be bad. I just did. My gut told me. I was asking for signs like, is this going to be okay? And I kept getting signs it was going to be okay, but it wasn't really good. So I was at work, sweet Christine. Like when you go through this, you remember everyone's name through the whole step of the way. And this nurse called and said, I have bad news. It's not good. You have infiltrating ductal carcinoma, which sounded wicked bad. It's spread a little bit. And so I went in to my boss. I cried. I said, I'd like to take the half a day off. They sent me home. My sister, we had a plan because she was at work. So she's like, when you get the news, just text me if it's good or bad. So I was like, oh, shoot. So driving home, I texted, it's kind of bad. And so went home, told T, and he said, well, we're going to the golf course. We're golfing. We're going to get a cart. We're going to get a drink. And honestly, that is kind of how we handled it all through the whole step of the way, through the 8 weeks after the bilateral mastectomy, through the 20 weeks of chemo. We just decided we were going to stay the course. Oh, I love that picture. We were going to stay the course. And that was our mantra through the whole thing. We were going to, I am like as out of shape as I've ever been, as in great shape as I've ever been. I have never stepped on a line to race and not think I was going to win. And we decided that was what we're going to do with this. There was no option of losing. Like we weren't going to lose this. And like I said, I had support like you wouldn't believe. These are just all friends and coworkers. My team had showed up that day on my last day of chemo. The facilities guys at the college would wear pink shirts on Fridays.
Wow.
I had only been working at the college for 6 months. So I hadn't even accumulated enough vacation or sick time to do this. I couldn't go to work for 8 weeks. So they instituted a policy where people could donate their vacation time to employees who didn't have enough.
Wow.
And I did not take one day without pay for the whole year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I know that you have tons of friends and family, but when you're going through with that and you hit those emotions, it's easier to say, well, I can do it. And you were faced with this challenge. And I remembered when we got together, Ed, I don't know if that picture. Yeah, that one right there. So Kerry, I do want you to tell about this story, but that's a circle of friends and we're missing some people there. So, our sister friends that we have, you called us the night before you were supposed to have surgery. This isn't that picture, but that night that we met up with you, and I can say firsthand that you and your husband are inspiring. And we met the night before you were supposed to have surgery, and we drank at this bar and we sang, and the waitress was like, "What are you guys celebrating?" And you said,
breast cancer. Isn't this what everyone does?
So in this picture, you asked us to promise you that when you made it through, we go away every year to Girls Weekend. When we make it through, you made us promise, not made us, you didn't have to make us do anything, that we would go somewhere of your choice. So tell us about this picture. And
so again, throughout this whole 20 weeks of chemo, people were just so generous with gifts, with their time, it was something every week. And one of our girlfriends in that picture, all the way to the right with the gray and white striped sweater, sent me a gift. And it was a box full of stuff. And one of the things in it was a book. And it was said, A Girlfriend's Getaway Guide. And so in it, she wrote, when the time comes and you're ready, you pick a place in here and we are going. And so for the cancer I had, it was actually really aggressive. It would spread quick. And if it was going to come back, it was going to come back quick. 3 years to 5 that was kind of like my crunch time. And so when we hit the 5-year anniversary, we said, you know what, it's time to go to Nashville. And so we met up in Boston. We flew to Nashville on a Thursday afternoon, and we just painted the town red. This picture here, we somehow found ourselves on the Sirius XM radio cocktail country happy hour. That's Buzz Brainerd, my new best friend. He allowed us to come on stage. I was able to take the microphone. I did not sing that night. And we were able to introduce everyone and tell our story. And it was just, there wasn't a dry eye in the house. And we became then Buzz's best friend, because his best friends were there and we sat with them in the VIP section.
Oh my gosh, Kerry, you're so amazing. And now you continue to spread that light and love. It's been 8 years. You've had the second test. Like, how does that work now?
Yep. So for the first 5 years, for the first 2 years, I went every 3 months. Oh, first 3 years. Then we went every 6. And then I went a year. And once I got to 5 years, they said, that's considered cured. It didn't come back, knock on wood. And now we're 8 years and I just do regular appointments and listen to my body and make sure if anything doesn't seem right, I'm keeping an eye on it.
So do you think, obviously, thank God that it's 8 years and you beat cancer. We won't swear on live, but F cancer.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing your stories and the importance of, knowing your body, checking your body, going to the doctors if you don't feel that doctor's right. But do you feel it's also what has helped you besides, your family and your friends is your outlook on life, your mindset? Can you talk about that?
Yeah. This sounds a little cliche, but it was really a gift. It was just an awesome way for me to slow down, to really enjoy the little things. And again, I know that sounds a little corny, but it's true. I was given a second chance. And at least you know as well as I do, when you're confronted with your mortality and that, oh gosh, I'm going to die, but I could die. Your outlook changes, and it changed me physically. It changed me emotionally. I just had decided from then on, I was going to be a rock star doing this. I was going to try to make a difference for other people going through it also and make myself available to folks. I had a woman that I worked with who was just my angel. She was my person that I could text in the middle of the night when I wasn't sleeping, when the steroids was getting the best of me, when I felt shaky or felt tired, or really, honestly, when I felt sad, because I had a 10-year-old and a 12-year-old. I really couldn't be sad around them. My husband was just a rock star. We joke like, oh, is that what you signed up for? And so I was forever changed that way. And so now I do. We work hard, we play hard, and I don't forget to say I love you. It's all those little things, like make sure people know where they stand with you. Honest, right through the front door most days. And really just embracing the fact that I got a second chance, right? Because not everyone's given that chance. And like I said, as well as anyone, Lise, when you're given that second chance, it means you were meant to do something. So I just try to live my best life.
So when we talked about that, as we let our listeners know that you were going to be on the show, and you've made it your mission to also spread positive words. How do you do this? I know how you do it with our circle of friends, but you've taken what normal people would have a chip on their shoulder, or a life-changing event is either going to change you this way or for the bad way, and you could go into a depression. But now I'm hearing, this happened. And thank you for sharing to help inspire others here on our Inner Life of Fitness. But you're also doing other stuff, like you're setting positive messaging. What do you do?
I try to be the best version of me, right? It isn't always perfect, but it is. So some of the little things. So I have a chalkboard. I write a message on the chalkboard every single day for my family. And that, so it's Tuesday. And just, it started, I did it intermittently before COVID. And then in COVID, things were heavy. People felt heavy. And that's what I do. So every day there's a different message. Some of them are more profound than others. Some of them are just like, you've had enough. And so I do that. I never hang up a phone without telling someone I love them. I don't know why. Anyone. Like sometimes it's like the flower shop accidentally, because I'm just so used to doing it. I try not to go to bed angry. Like I just, that kind of negative. Oh yeah, that's one. Yeah. That kind of negative energy just doesn't work for me. I love my friends and family with my whole entire heart. I want my kids to know it's unconditional. I want my husband to know that. And I just have tried to take the time to let people know how important they are to me in my life.
And be that pebble in that water. Ed, if we can go back to that picture, that Thomas College. So Kerry also will take these. She sends messages to us girlfriends. She'll post on social media. She works in development at Thomas College, and this was something that you posted on Thomas College. And you bring a lot of light and positivity into that program. They're so lucky to have you. Do your athletes, you also coach now, right? Cross country?
Yep. I coached cross country for 13 years. I stepped down last year, mostly knowing I had a senior in high school. We were going to do a lot of the college stuff. Hunter was going to his first year in college, and just wanted to be able to be a little bit more available, because also it's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time. And so I had taken a step back from it. Someday I will definitely go back to it, because it's where I get just incredible energy. My student athletes who I've coached over the last 12 years are still so much a part of me and my family. I get the random Saturday night text. I get the happy birthday messages. I get the, coach, I'm coming through town. Can you meet up for a beer? Or and it's just was such a huge part of my life. And frankly, it's what got me through the last few weeks of chemo, because so two things really got me through those last few weeks. It was coaching, because I had the energy from these young student athletes who I couldn't let down. And then it was, I had two treatments left, and I just didn't think I could do it. I really didn't. I was tired. I looked tired. I finally looked like the sick people at Dana-Farber, because at first I didn't feel sick, right? I didn't look sick. And my group of 10 girlfriends showed up at my cross country meet, and a sea of pink came as I was sitting there coaching. And I thought, oh God, thank God, because I'm going to get through this. Like, and it was that. It was like all of a sudden the world was going to be okay. And that really, it's what pushed me across the finish line.
That's amazing, Kerry. Karen Lope-Sava just said 2 amazing women. So,
right back at you, Car.
So, Kerry, you mentioned that I know what you're talking about. And this is how amazing and humble you are. You always put everybody else first. And now, when years pass, I'm hearing that you put yourself first, which is not a bad thing, but you still try to take care of everybody else. So when I had my heart attack 8 years ago, you're going through, I mean, I lived my heart. I've lived through it. You were like, your heart attacks trump breast cancer. I still have that voice message saved. I'm like, shit, no, it doesn't. No. But,
and I think I said, we're getting rid of the pink. We're going to red now. We need red.
You did. You totally did. And it was so great to come and help support you on that last. Ed, do we have any pictures of her during chemo? And I think, to share your story, Kerry, is so important. Yeah, her and her sisters right there. This was an event who put on this fundraiser to help you?
So that was my sisters over Thanksgiving. I had just finished chemo. Oh, as you can tell, I look a little tired. And they just did a big party. It was a huge surprise. I didn't know. We've just finished the chemo and said, this is going in the rearview mirror. What's funny though, Lise, and this was something I was going to touch upon too. So, for the 20 weeks of chemo and the 8 weeks after the mastectomy, I was focused. Like I had to get to the finish line. And what was actually probably harder for me was that year afterwards. And I don't think they prep you for that, because it was a lot of living in fear. The other thing I do is our president of our college challenged us back quite a few years ago now to pick a word, right? So you choose a word or the word chooses you. And then you try to live your year just embracing that word. And, in 2014, that year, I lived in fear. I thought I was going to come back. I hated every doctor's appointment. And then in 2015, when she challenged us to pick a word, I did fit and fearless in 15 because I wasn't going to be afraid anymore and I was going to get back into shape. And so each year I just remind myself of whatever that word's going to be. So this year's word is happy. And so, so that's just one way too, that I try to just remind myself to live in the moment and live by those words.
Well, I want to plant a seed, and it just came to me, but you do have this, you're an amazing writer and you have a way with words. When you send birthday messages, we all just want to copy and paste what you write. Have you ever thought about or considered maybe in the future putting together a book of quotes?
Yes, definitely. And again, I will be an empty nester in 3 months. And I feel like I'm going to have a lot more time to do these kind of things. So, yes, I would love to. I would love to just kind of journal some of the things that have been important to me over the last 8 years or a lifetime. And I'd be remiss not to mention my amazing parents. My mom and dad, I wouldn't want to watch my child go through something like this. So I can't imagine what it was like for them, because, you never think that your children's mortality is going to come before yours. And so they were just amazingly supportive, as they have been my whole life. And I have to make sure I give kudos to them too. And my amazing sisters. I mean, you saw the pictures. They did not miss an appointment. They did not miss any kind of follow-up, everything, every single step of the way. They were there. They were there for the 3 days in the hospital. And so I was so lucky to have that. So lucky.
Well, I think I can speak on behalf of me and the viewers that, you know, you say luck, but just listening to you and feeling your joy and feeling your happiness and feeling your positive energy, that's why people surround themselves around you, Kerry, because you give your whole mind, body, and soul. When you're friends with Kerry Brothers Smart, you get more than just a body. And I'm getting emotional, but so that's why people rally and people will continue to rally. And I could not have you on this show to help inspire and to help ignite someone else out there who may get that same phone call. And they're going to look at you now and you beat it. You're here and how you got through it. And I firmly believe that a lot of it was attitude, you know, an attitude in who you are, and that, you know, someone can make a difference. So thank you for sharing your story. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
What?
You knew I really wanted to come on.
I would have Ed play a little karaoke song, but I don't want to ruin it for people. So I'll let them know.
No, don't.
Ed, could you show a picture of a beautiful family? Because I can attest. And congratulations to Gabs. We'll go to, there we go, right there. Nope, the other one. That's us at the bar. So this is Kerry and her beautiful family, TJ, live up in Maine, and just a beautiful family. Thank you for being that positive pebble in the water, Kerry. Any last words you'd like to say to our viewers?
Nope. I just, you know, again, make every day a good one, you know, and when you're not having a good day, because you're not going to have good days all the time, right? Just know that the next day the sun's going to come up again, and don't fret about that, and really not to sweat the small stuff. You just need to live your life.
Amen. Amen. I love you. Sending a hug.
I love you.
Thank you so much for joining today. And on behalf
Thanks,
of
everyone.
Thank you for sharing your story. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this inspiring story by Kerry Brothers Smart, who is truly an amazing human being. I want to thank you for joining today and hope that you tune in next week. Next week, we have a special guest, our very own governor of Rhode Island, Dan McKee. As part of his commitment to our small but mighty state, Governor McKee is a small business advocate who's been working tirelessly for businesses like Body Soul during the pandemic. During our interview, we'll talk about his early days in owning his own fitness studio in Woonsocket for over 25 years, to his time as the mayor of Cumberland, and now as our governor of Rhode Island. So we hope you tune in next week. If you have any inspiring stories that you feel will help make a positive difference, email me at lisa@bodysoultraining.com. Remember to take it one day at a time, move more, breathe more, drink more water. Until next week on the Inner Life of Fitness, this is Lisa. Bye, everybody.